All right, let's get right in here. This is the time and place for a city commission meeting in Huron, South Dakota on March 25th, 2024 at 5:30 in the evening. Roll call, please.
Smith.
Here.
Weinreich.
Here.
Wright.
Here.
Harvey.
Here.
Mayor Harrington.
Here. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda approval. Do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda from the commission tonight?
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion approved from Commissioner Harvey. Need a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Smith. Roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Weinreich.
Aye.
Wright.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Public forum. Public forum is limited to a maximum of 3 minutes per person. Please state your name and address for the record. Do we have anything for a public forum for the commission tonight? Seeing none, do we have any from the audience tonight? Seeing none?
Can I just quick note that
Yes, yes.
we are absentee voting today through the next Monday,
Okay.
or excuse me, Monday the 8th at 5 o'clock is the last voting person absentee at City Hall or at the school business office.
Oh, very good, very good. Okay, public forum. City Commission adjourns now to convene as the Board of Adjustment for the following public hearings. And I'm going to call on our city planner, Barry Gransler, to tell us about 4.1 and 4.2.
Thank you, Mayor. The first variance is a public hearing to consider the variance application filed by Brittany Anderson to operate a commercial gym / club for athletic training and recreational purposes in a zone for I-1 Limited Industrial District. And Brittany is here. Brittany, if you would come up, please state your name and address for the record.
Brittany Anderson, and then the address is 1685, I can't remember all of it.
Dakota
Avenue,
North,
thank you.
yeah. So Brittany is proposing to build remodel her building up there where the old Freddy's Electric building used to be, and then use it for office, and but primarily she needed a variance to operate a gym or a club up there for recreational purposes, so. We looked at this, the hearing examiner looked at this, and we didn't have any public comment regarding this, so we'd recommend approval.
I would make a motion to approve.
Motion approved, Commissioner Harvey, second by Commissioner Weinrich. Any questions for Brittany on this item at all? See none? Thank you, Brittany.
Thank you.
Roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Weinreich.
Aye.
Wright.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Okay, moving on. 4.2.
Okay, 4.2 is public hearing to consider the variance application filed by Don Hoskins to construct a detached garage 10 feet from the south property line. He will be entering from the 6th Street side of his property as he lives on a corner. And typically when vehicles enter a driveway or a garage perpendicular to that street, we require 20 feet. Now, there's only going to be 10 feet is what he's requesting. We did go over and look at this. We've had, Chris and I have both visited with the applicant, and we recommend approval of this so long as he meets the proper zoning code other than this variance, and then also with the inspector's comments regarding building codes from the international building codes. So we recommend approval. For the record, we only had one inquiry, and once we found out that Don was trying to just build a garage, then he had no problems with it.
Is Don here?
Yes, Don is in the back.
Don, come on back. Come on up, if you would, please. State your name and address, sir.
My name is Don Hoskins, 577 Utah Ave Southeast.
Okay. Do we have questions for Don today?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Mr. Weinrich, need a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Commissioner Bragg. Roll call vote, please.
Smith,
Aye.
Weinrice,
Aye.
Bragg,
Aye.
Harvey,
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye.
Okay, thank you both for coming. That's all there is to it.
And you can leave.
Unless you want to stay.
You can stay if you want.
Thanks, guys. All right, moving on. The Board of Adjustment adjourns to reconvene as the City Commission. Consent agenda. Matters appearing on the consent agenda are expected to be non-controversial and will be acted upon by the Commission at one time without discussion. Unless a member of the Commission requests an opportunity to address any of the given items removed from the consent agenda will be discussed at the beginning of the formal items. Tonight's consent agenda consists of 6.1, minutes of the March 18th, 2024 City Commission meeting. 6.2, Board of Equalization minutes of March 18th, 2024. 6.3, fuel quotes, city departments. 6.4, special event on sale alcoholic beverage license filed by Top 4 Events for Heartland Pool and Dart Tournament, April 5th through the 7th, 2024 at the Huron Arena. All right, 6.5, authorize the mayor to sign the annual renewal with the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force for their aircraft display located at 76 15th Street Northwest. 6.6, personnel volunteer. Firefighter Benjamin Sharon has completed his probationary period effective March 22nd, 2024. 6.7, payment of the bills. I entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Commissioner Smith moves to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Weinrich. Okay, roll call vote, please.
Smith,
Aye.
Weinrice,
Aye.
Bragg,
Aye.
Harvey,
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Okay, moving on to bid quote items, and I see we have our city engineer, Brett Runge, here tonight. And Brett, if you got a few to go through on this one, so you can start right out with 7.1, explain that to us, please.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, we're putting some projects out here. 7.1, consider request to bid, authorize addendums as deemed necessary by the city engineer, and set the bid opening for 2 p.m. on April 9th, 2024 for project 2024-03, street bridge rehabilitation and preservation of structure 03-248-185. And DOT numbers are PCN 07T8 and PCN 08ER. And this is actually a rebid. So this is our 3rd Street Bridge rehab project, and the last time we put it out to bid, it didn't receive any bids, unfortunately. We reached out, our consultant in the city, we reached out to the prospective bidders, because we did have plan holders, but we just didn't receive any bids. And we reached out to them, and some of them just didn't have time at the time. Some of them noticed the project too late to put a bid together. The other thing is, some of them were looking at other projects, because it's not the most attractive project, if you will, right? It's several $100,000 type project, right? Yeah, the cost estimate is $155, right? And a lot of these contractors are coming from further distance into town to work on this, maybe from the Sioux Falls area or further. So we talked to them, and if we would rebid it, a couple of them said they would be interested in putting a bid in on this. So we're also working through this in conjunction with the state DOT, because this project's being partially funded through that. So we would like to request to try and rebid this project, and we recommend proceeding with it.
Need a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
All right, Commissioner Harvey, a second.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Smith. Any questions for Brett on this item? See none, roll call vote, please.
Smith,
Aye.
Weinrice,
Aye.
Bragg,
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. 7.2, Brett, please.
Consider a request to bid, authorize addendums as deemed necessary by the city engineer, and set the bid opening for 2 p.m. on April 16th, 2024 for project 2024-13Q asphalt emulsion. This is the bid for the oil that we use for the city chip seal project. We have been using, and you may or may not care about it, but we have been using a different oil as an MC 3000. This is more of an asphalt emulsion. It's a little cheaper product, as in not quality, but cost-wise. And the street department, Bob Simpson, and the city engineering, we've discussed with like the city of Mitchell and other communities that are transitioning over to this different product. It's CRS-2P emulsion. So basically, it's cut back with water rather than diesel in the end. So it's just a little different product. But we are looking to bid this so that we can move forward with our city chip seal project. The budget for this project is $144,773. We recommend proceeding with the bid.
Any motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Mr. Harvey, motion to approve. Need a second on that motion.
Second.
Second, Mr. Weinress. Roll call vote, please. There's no questions.
I do have a
Yes,
question.
Mr. Smith.
Brett, is this part of what you guys are starting to do with like the fog sealing? Is that this same type of product or?
No,
Is that
the
a
fog,
different
the
process?
fog seal includes 2 steps. We first chip seal, and then we come back later with a different oil, and we go over the top to fog seal it, which really seals up the road nice and leaves a really good appearance too. I mean, in the end, but it's up there. We will continue that. This is the first step of the chip seal, and we're just changing the oil product that we're looking at using, so we can maybe get a little further, a little bit more footage, I guess, on our streets that we're trying to chip seal with this.
What,
But we will still continue with the fog seal.
when was the first street that you fog sealed that? Or did
Uh,
that process?
Last year, we went across the board. The first one that we did it was 2 years ago, and I'm trying to think. Just one second. Yep. But last year, we went across the board with everything. But 2 years ago was when we kind of did the first trial with the fog seal.
You had good results with that?
Yes.
Obviously.
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
Thank you.
These, you know, and you drive some of these streets, you know, kind of see, and they're starting to, as they're starting to break up, one of the things, they maybe look dry and different things like that. Well, we're getting moisture into the asphalt. The moisture into your asphalt or below the asphalt is what's causing these problems. So when we come in and we do the maintenance projects, like we route out the cracks, you know what I mean, to try to seal the cracks in the asphalt. But we come in and we do a chip seal to try, what we're doing is we're just trying to seal this asphalt back up to keep the moisture out. And that fog seal, as you're mentioning, is another layer of preventative maintenance there to do that. So it's been good.
Good. Thank you.
Need a roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Wainwright.
Aye.
Gregg.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Mayor Egerton.
Aye. All right, thank you. 7.3, Brett.
Consider request to bid, authorize addendums as deemed necessary by the city engineer, and set the bid opening for 2 p.m. on April 16th, 2024 for project 2024-08 sewer main lining. So this is 3 years' worth of sewer main lining put together all in one project. And the reason for this is receiving ARPA funding through the South Dakota DA&R. Plans had to be submitted by March 1st to receive this funding, and the projects have to be under contract by the end of this year. But the construction can continue out through 2026. So we received review from the DA&R, and we're ready to move forward and bid this project. We actually have an October 2025 completion date on this to try to, 2 years we believe was long enough to be able to do the work that we have shown. The cost estimate for this project is $2,610,000. And like I said, it's went through the DA&R review for our funding. We recommend proceeding with the bid.
Move to approve.
Move to approve, Mr. Gregg. Second, Mr. Weinress. Any questions for Brett on this item?
I would, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
So just for clarification, when we go through this process, we've been approved to proceed by ARPA, but what portion of the funding, would it all be under ARPA funds, or?
So when we originally submitted, and Pauline's, actually, we kind of ran into this summer when we started getting reimbursement. When we originally submitted, it was kind of that, they gave us that idea, cities of our size would receive 30% funding for what we submitted on. And that's the funding that we received. Now that we've gone back, and when I say we, Pauline's been doing the legwork on this, going back to get the reimbursement, they basically have this pool of money that they set aside for us that was based on the original submittal, and they're just doling that out to us, all of it. So, through the conversations where it's not 100% clear if they're gonna stop that at the 30% mark of what we bid out in the end, or if we get all that, which we are doing less than what we submitted on, so it's gonna be more like 40% maybe funding.
Yeah, it looks like, we started on the water meters, and it looks like, 30% of our meter project would have been about 500-some thousand. We spent 1.8, they sent us 1.8. So they give us this much for water, and they're just reimbursing us right, using up the water money. So we assume they'll do the same thing for the sewer.
And they're pushing this out forward because, they don't wanna wait until the final year, which is 2026, to try to put this reimbursement back out to the cities. They wanna push it further forward. So even if we don't have a project complete, they'll reimburse us to whatever level is left at that time. So, I mean, they're wanting to pay forward and move this. Engineering costs do not qualify, I believe, but we don't have engineering in most of these projects that we just did, so. As in, we have internal engineering, we'd have to pay our consultants. This was designed internally by the city engineering department, so. And just for clarity too, the sewer main lining, we're rehabbing our existing sanitary sewers, and we're basically putting a liner through them, and that liner, once it's cured, becomes structural. It's not just a liner that keeps the leaking out, but the whole intent of the sewer main lining project is to prevent infiltration of water into our system. So, and so we're not treating groundwater at a wastewater plant, we're just actually treating sewage water. The idea.
And just to restate what you said, I mean, these were projects that we would have been doing anyway, we're just pushing through to get qualified for funding.
Correct, they're all part of our 5-year plan, extended out, yep.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Brett on this item? Seeing none, roll call vote please.
Smith.
Aye.
Weinreich.
Aye.
Brown.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Okay, moving on to 7.4.
Consider request to bid, authorize addendums as deemed necessary by the city engineer, and set the bid opening for 2:00 PM on April 16th, 2024 for project 2024-11 4th Street reconstruction. So this is the 4th Street reconstruction project from the 3rd Street Bridge to Custer Ave. And this will be the new alignment of 4th Street in front of the new solid waste transfer facility. The realignment, if you recognize, when you come up to the old DAF building, we call it, for Dakota Porteous, there's a pretty sharp, abrupt curve there and kind of an odd hill to see through. So what we've done is we've straightened the alignment of the road out so that it goes more straight down the hill from there. And we've taken a lot of that hill out so that you'll have better sight distance and it'll just be a better travel, especially for Dale and his guys that will be driving. Now it's gonna see, that road's gonna see a lot more truck activity with solid waste trucks and contractors that are dumping and delivering. So this project, looking to bid, it's got a completion date of 2024 for reconstructing the road, but we won't pave it until 2025. And part of that was to let the road kind of rest and settle after rebuilding it. And then the other part of it was it also kind of spread our budget a little bit for the paving portion of that. So we recommend proceeding with the bid. The cost estimate for this project is $2,180,000, which is what we have budgeted.
Move to approve.
Move to approve, Commissioner Bragg, need a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Smith. Any more questions for Brett on this item? Yes.
Super quick, when we first talked about this, we also talked about that walking path. Is that still a part of the plan? I don't see it listed.
Correct, yep. So we have a widened, it's gonna be an asphalt road. We did a widened shoulder on the south side to provide that walking path.
Perfect.
It's a 8-foot widened shoulder.
Wonderful, thank you.
Okay, nothing else? Roll call.
I should note that construction of this is planned in phases to keep access to the community gardens. We're trying to phase that the best we can through there, so at a certain point during construction, access to the community gardens will be restricted off of to coming off of Custer Avenue. There's just no way around that, but.
Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Wainwright.
Aye.
Craig.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. All right, Bet 7.5, last one.
Consider request to bid, authorize addendums as deemed necessary by the city engineer, and set the bid opening for 2:00 PM on April 16th, 2024 for project 2024-05 lift station improvements. This project would be the lift station improvements portion of what we submitted to DANR for ARPA funding. So we have a couple of canned packaged lift stations that we're going to remove from the ground and replace. They're just at the end of their life, probably 40 years-ish on those cans that we're replacing. We also have some wet wells that have been headaches, troublemakers for Rob to be able to get into and clean out. So we're just doing some rehabilitation on the wet wells, taking the top off, taking some of the piping out of there that's in the way, and just kind of rebuilding them. This project again has a completion date of October 2025, so not this year, but next year. Those cans will take about 9 months to get manufactured, so there's some lead time on those. We've also gone through the ARPA review process for this. The cost estimate for the project is $910,000, and we recommend proceeding with the bid.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Harvey, and second by Mr. Weinrich. Commissioner Weinrich. Any questions for Brett on this item? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Wainwright.
Aye.
Craig.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Thank you, Brett. Moving on to petitions and communications, we're gonna move on to 8.1, and City Attorney Tucker Valesky will talk to us about 8.1.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. 8.1, consider renewing the agreement with Top Floor Events LLC for management of the Huron Event Center, and authorize the mayor to sign. The current agreement expires March 31st. This extension will extend the agreement under the same terms for another year. Recommend.
Okay. Motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Commissioner Smith moves to approve. Need a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Harvey. Any questions for Tucker on this item?
I have one, Mayor.
Yes.
So who negotiates this contract, or how did it come to that there would be no changes, or where is this brought about? Because we discussed that here.
Well, we sat down, Paulman and I, Brian, were you and I, and sat down with the people that wanted to do it about 6 or 7 years ago, and came up with a contract that was acceptable both to the city and to them, and we've been living with that contract ever since. We review it, but nothing's changed really.
Brenda reviewed it with
Yeah.
the top floor
Yeah.
this year with.
Anything else on that, Drew?
Nope.
Oh, okay, all right, seeing nothing, roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Wainwright.
Aye.
Craig.
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Bet you didn't get out here quick enough to get a couple more. We got you for 8.2, we're gonna call on our city engineer, Brett Youngie, to talk to us about 8.2 and 9.2.
All right, thank you, Mayor. 8.2, consider sharing the cost of milling and overlaying to the parking lot with First Congregation Church. So, the city engineering department, we have contacted the First Congregational Church in regards to the asphalt milling and overlaying of their parking lot. And we've asked them if they would consider cost sharing the project with the city, since the terms of our current easement with the church state that the asphalt replacement is not considered part of the city's regular maintenance. And the city performs normal maintenance, including snow removal on the parking lot, in return for using it during activities like at the Huron Event Center or at the arena. We've looked, and our agreements across the city vary on this, and in the past, the city has just did the asphalt overlay on some of these because the agreement didn't specifically call anything else out. Things are a little bit different with this church parking lot and their easement. One of the things is they can restrict use of the city's use during certain timeframes where the other agreements did not allow, so some of it goes back and forth. But anyways, the total amount to overlay that, mill and overlay that, $60,256.56. That was bid by Asphalt Paving Materials as part of our mill and overlay parking lot project. The First Congregation Church, they have proposed to pay a third of the cost, which is equivalent to $20,000 and change. And the city would then be responsible for the remaining 2/3 of the cost, or $40,000. We believe this is a reasonable and fair cost share on this in the end, since in the past we have just milled and overlaid other parking lots for various, that we share with churches or different groups. So we think that this is a reasonable thing to do with the First Congregational Church, and we recommend approval of the agreement with them and moving forward with it.
Need a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Commissioner Smith moves to approve. Need a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Harvey. Any questions for Brett on this item?
I do have a question, Mayor.
Yes, Mr. Smith.
Since I'm sure the school district wouldn't have any appetite to help us out on this?
We've discussed that, and we doubt that they would move in on, to participate in that, this cost share of this. I'm not sure how much it gets used during arena events, for sure, I guess, but it is a level that we just did not receive anything from them on that.
Of course, they have a pretty substantial parking lot to the south.
Right. And when they came to the city, part of the reason why we also did not get very excited about moving there is they did come to the city about doing some cost share in their parking lot to the south, and we kind of denied that we didn't feel that we should need to participate in that. So.
So that's the
A
real
little
story.
background. A little background there.
Okay. Had to ask.
Any other questions for Brett on this item?
Well, just to follow, because we talked a little bit about this when, this one compared to some of the other agreements, I mean, this one does get used by city traffic on a very regular basis. I mean, almost every time there's something in that event center, this is a necessary parking lot. So I think this one seems reasonable. I think some of the other ones we need to take a look at when they come due, because some of the other ones maybe are harder to understand, but this one's pretty clear. The city uses it quite a bit.
And to that point, our intent is to work with finance and on future renewal of these easements and trying to maybe provide some consistency moving forward on them too.
All right. Any other questions for Brett on this item? See none, roll call vote, please.
Smith,
Aye.
Weinreich,
Aye.
Bragg,
Aye.
Harvey,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye. Moving on to departmental items, 9.1, and we'll call on our library, head of our library, Angela, would you come up and help us with this item? This, I'll reference for this consider sharing the cost of, consider recommendation from the Capital Assets Committee for the library flashing and soffit project. So now, explain what that is.
So when we did budget last June, I asked the library board, I got quotes to replace the soffit because it's falling down and to install flashing, because we've had water damage on the inside of the building to reroute the water to the outside of the building. So Greater Huron has a grant for facade. So I called them and asked them in last June if the library as a city department would qualify, because we are also outside of their limits of downtown. But the apartment building across the street used it, and they're outside, so they didn't think it would be a problem. So when I submitted my budget request last July, August, that was part of the budget request, is that I would fill out the paperwork. I filled out the paperwork at the end of February, so I could qualify for March 1st. And the committee came back with questions as to whether the library should apply for this grant, if I had approval, because it's building maintenance on a city building. Should that fit their criteria? So after speaking with Pauline, we decided to withdraw our application and go back to the capital asset committee to ask for the additional $7,500. So that's kind of how that went.
Any questions for Angela on this topic?
Mayor, I'd move to approve the request.
Move to approve by Commissioner Smith,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bragg. Now, do we have any questions on this item for Angela?
I do appreciate you trying.
Yeah, try to save them.
Yeah.
They were hoping to do the flashing in the spring. If that does reroute the water, they do the soffit in the fall, just to make sure that the water is not coming back in their building. The only concern we have is we don't know what's underneath the soffit. So when they get in there might be additional damage, hopefully not, but it was installed in 1965, so who knows? But that's the plan anyway.
All right, thank you, appreciate it. We need a roll call vote.
Smith,
Aye.
Weinreich,
Aye.
Bragg,
Aye.
Harvey,
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Now moving on to 9.2 with our city engineer. Rumsey's gonna tell us what this is about.
So we have a street milling and overlay project update. When we bid the street milling and overlay project, it's the 2024-04 street milling and overlay project. It was awarded to Asphalt Paving Materials for $838,000, give or take, which is approximately $188,000 less than the city's budget of $1,026,000. In order to fully utilize this street maintenance budget and push our dollar as far forward as we can on streets, the city engineering part, we're proposing adding the following streets to the project using just the unit bid prices that we already have. And so what we're looking at is Idaho Avenue southeast from 20th Street to 15th Street, and Riverview Ave southeast from 21st Street to 18th Street. And the total estimated additional cost of that would be $185,000, so we're still under what we budgeted. A couple things to note, Idaho Avenue, there is the school there, so we will need to coordinate with the school schedule, which that's fairly simple as far as we just need to avoid the morning traffic and the afternoon release traffic, basically, and they can do that easy enough, and I've talked to Asphalt Paving, and that should not be a problem. The reason why we're running this through as an update and not as a change order at this time is because these quantity, these estimates are just, these quantities are just estimates at this time. So to run a change order through and then have to come back later and change it with the with the actual quantities, just seems like extra red tape and paperwork. So what we're looking for is just to see if the commission agrees, and then we'll proceed with this and basically execute the change order when it's finished. So you really don't need a formal decision, I guess, or vote, I guess, on it, but just general direction if the commission agrees to utilize the budget.
I absolutely think we should fix as many roads as we can.
You never get complaints that we fix too many.
No,
roads.
never.
My one question was, how did you decide these two streets? Are they just next on the
Yep.
list?
They were next on the, well, two things, well, maybe more than two, but at least two big items. They're next on the list, so we have a whole list of every street in town, and we have them graded from A, B, C, D, all the way down to F, basically, right? And we monitor them from that regards, and these streets are on that list and needing repair. But the other aspect is these streets, the utilities underneath them are good to go for it now. We have PVC water main under both of these, and then the sanitary sewer is good under both of these at this time. So we really don't like to go in and mill and overlay a street and then come back like 2-3 years later, right, with a water main project. Not that it doesn't happen by mistake, but we do our best to prevent that from happening. And these are two streets that function for us in that regard, that won't be an issue. So those are the two main deciding factors.
Any other questions for Brett on this item? Seeing none, we don't need a roll call on this?
We don't need a motion to push that reading.
We move on then. Thank you, I appreciate it. Okay. We're gonna move on to 9.3, and Rich Ragg will talk to us about, or Dale Fortin, who's here. Maybe we'll bring Dale up to talk about this.
He's so handsome. What a difference a week makes. We're not getting quite as many phone calls about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we will be out picking up the green containers this Wednesday. And we'll continue doing that through I think it's the 17th of April. So, and the yard waste drop-off site is open. Didn't have anybody all weekend over there. Any questions?
Thanks, Dale, appreciate that. 9.4, consider changes to the delinquent accounts.
Thank you.
Yes, Finance Director Pauline Carey will talk about that one.
Yeah, this has kind of been an ongoing conversation with our change of the meters, and talking with staff. The memo actually covers both the ordinance change and the delinquent accounts policy. The ordinance is just to change out what the actual charge is right now. It's $2 plus 1% of the total bill. We're asking now to put that as a resolution based on the governing board, so that's something we look at annually. Discussion with staff is they'd like it to change to $20 flat rate. So that's the recommendation on that part of the delinquent. And then the policy itself, again, mostly just adding that change in there. And then there was some discussion with Rob, in the sense of our previous superintendent wanted to see the list before it was delinquent, and he would look at it and discuss with staff what would be shut off and what wouldn't, and all those things and how that worked. Rob is choosing to just go with the list and not make any decisions that way, so that's the change there. The other change on there you can see is just the timing. We don't send somebody out at 5 o'clock to change. It's at 4:30 would be our timeline to stop. I mean, obviously, if it's in between that, we can get there, but we're just making it more convenient for staff on both departments. So the first one is to change the policy, and then we'll have the ordinance change in the next. One of the things that comes with that, I'm sorry, this is a big part of it, I apologize, I was making such a big deal of it last week, is the billing. I sent this out in the packet so you could see. One of the things they do is we print pink slips and we stuff them in an envelope and mail them out. It's about 500 of them a month. One of the things staff came up with is, can we put that past due shut-off date right on their bill? So we did that. We talked to our printer, and they're willing to actually take the current bills we have and run them back through, so it'll be in black, a different color, to add that on the front of your bill, and then explain what that is also on the back, where the instructions to kind of what the bill says. So we recommend to change that policy and update our bills.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion approved. Mr. Weinrich, need a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Harvey. Any questions, Pauline, on this topic?
A quick one.
Yes,
I think
Commissioner.
it looks great. Are we moving towards a time when we could do some of this stuff via email?
With the shut-offs?
Just any of the billing notifications, you know,
Somewhat, we do that now with our new credit card system. We have some email bills going that way. About 1,500, we're trying to get there. A lot of it is language barrier that we run into.
But like, I think what you're saying is like, can we request to go paperless and not?
Yes, you can do that now.
I
Yeah,
don't
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
part of it, yeah, part of it,
It's
and
the same
part of it
as
too, I was just
mailing
thinking,
it.
Yes,
In-
and we
in-
have, we recommend that when people come in, if they're late or whatever, we're like, oh, you can do paperless, you can do bank pay. We do have those other options, yes.
the more ways
The
we can,
email
before we
options
shut
for us-
somebody off.
Some of our accounts are sold, we don't have good contact information in the sense of phone numbers and emails. So that is something we're working on too. With the new, meter system, we're hoping to eventually get to that point where we can do some of these things automatic from the computer, not have to send out extra people. It just takes time.
Any other questions? Yes, Mr.
But does
Wyman?
it take effect
It
next,
would be,
after the resolution is?
the policy could be in effect currently, but it's 20 days after publication of the ordinance, so probably mid-April, which is about perfect, we're thinking with the weather changing like that, or excuse me, mid-May, yeah.
Okay. Any more questions for this item? None? Roll call vote, please.
Smith,
Aye.
Weinreich,
Aye.
Bragg,
Aye.
Harvey,
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Moving on to ordinance and resolutions, 10.1, I'm going to call on our city attorney Tucker Valesky to explain 10.1.
Thank you, Mayor. 10.1, first reading of ordinance number 2261-21-81,